Hey guys, welcome back to the Film Bros Podcast. I'm your host JP. This is my co-host Josh.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
We're back for episode 2, and this episode is just gonna be a pure movie review. Josh, would you like to let the audience know what we're reviewing today?
We are reviewing Black Adam.
Black Adam. We had the privilege of going to see it last night.
Yep. Friday night premiere.
Theater was a little empty.
It was.
Theater was a little empty for opening night.
Yeah.
But we'll discuss all that later. Just right before we get into it, Josh, I gotta ask you.
Wait. Spoilers.
Oh, this is gonna be a spoiler review?
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be a spoiler review for Black Adam. So, if you guys haven't seen Black Adam, go ahead and save this podcast to your listen to later or something, and just come back to this podcast. There will be spoilers in here, so if you don't want it to get spoiled for you, this is your only warning.
Yeah. We'll do our best to tiptoe around spoilers, but I know once I start talking, I'm not gonna be able to prevent it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So preface it now. Spoilers.
Okay, so full spoilers ahead, starting now.
Alright.
So, with that being said, Josh, last week on the pod, you said a thing that really stuck out to me. You said The Rock is gonna save DC. After seeing the film last night, do you still think that's true?
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
100%?
100%.
Okay. We'll tap into that in a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Calm down.
Okay. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. So you still believe that?
Yes.
Okay, this is gonna be an interesting conversation. I can't wait. I cannot wait. All right, here we go. So, Black Adam, and I'm gonna take the lead on this one, okay? I'm gonna talk first. I want to hear your thoughts on it, but hold on to them.
Okay.
Black Adam to me was the worst, funnest movie I've ever been to in a long time, and I'm going to clarify, okay?
Okay.
Black Adam, man, that movie had some of the worst dialogue. Some of the worst dialogue I've heard. Honestly, I would say it's on par with some of how DC's been putting some of the movies out, but some of the dialogue was straight up, what the hell, bro? If I could say specifics, like specifically certain lines, like I could not. I know they were trying to be funny, but that whole you gotta say a quip or something like that thing that was kind of cringy. I gotta say that was a little cringe, in my opinion. I was like, oh man, okay. We all knew what it was leading up to. It was gonna lead up to him finally saying it at the appropriate time and stuff like that. So when I already knew it was gonna take it there, so I was kind of like, whatever. Black Adam to me felt like a generic superhero movie. There was nothing new. They took elements from different movies, I believe, like putting The Rock's head on a smaller body, Captain America. We got, that little slow-mo scene that was happening. They took that from, X-Men. Like, I feel like Black Adam is a movie, a bunch of different movies mashed up into one to try to make it to what it is. The plot was kind of predictable. I couldn't really give a lot of points on the plot. The themes, I mean, I can kind of relate to the themes. I really loved the tone of the movie. The tone was, I love DC. Their edgy tone is a breath of fresh air to me when it comes to the superhero genre because of, Marvel and all that stuff. Characters were underdeveloped. I liked Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate was a highlight of the movie. I believe Hawkman is a highlight of the movie. Honestly, I would love to see a movie between that Tornado Girl and Atom Smasher. But I don't I like I would be more I felt more a little bit more excited for them than I actually did for Black Adam, and this is his movie. You feel me? The score was great. I would say the score was pretty good. But the pace, the editing, the dialogue, I gotta say, man, like it was fun when it was fun. Action pieces, the brutal kills. I love the brutal kills. Those were fun. Um, yeah, man. What are your thoughts? I need to let you speak up a little bit.
Um, oh, well, I liked it. Obviously, I don't agree with half your points. I'm like on the opposite side of the spectrum. I think it was really good. The story and plot to me kind of held up on its own. I think as for your take on the on taking other elements from MCU movies and stuff, I don't know, because I mean that's the only thing you can really compare it to. Like there's you saw that there wasn't original things in there, so you just found it and compared it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I kind of liked it, like that slow motion scene, things like that. It was really good. As for the dialogue, some of it did get cringy. Like I wasn't too much of a fan of the kid. Like he felt too much like what's his name from Shazam? Billy, or not Billy? His friend, Billy's friend. His I can't remember his name.
You're talking about the little boy in the movie that was
Yeah,
basically his route to humanity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The one that was like, oh man, like, are you bulletproof? You know what I mean? He kind of felt like him, but I don't know. I wasn't vibing too much with him, and I know he was kind of the one doing the narration in the beginning. But he wasn't too much my favorite character, so I can understand some of the dialogue being cringy. But like, I think that movie was fun. It was really good. Like I'd give it like a 8 or 9 out of 10 because I just had so much fun with that movie. It was really good. Black Adam.
I'm not gonna bash you. I'm not here to bash you, but you just say 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Out of out of 10, yeah. And then as for The Rock's actual performance, like you can tell it's a little different from his other roles, not too much. Like it's The Rock and he does his iconic things.
Okay.
But I think it's a little distinctive from his other things. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And obviously, Dr. Fate and Hawkman, two of the better elements of the movie. Atom Smasher and what was her name? I can't remember her name. Shit. Oh man.
The Tornado Girl?
Yeah, the Tornado Girl.
Yeah, I don't remember her name either.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying.
Those two were pretty cool. I know they should have gotten more screen time and stuff because they were really a good dynamic. But I think the whole JSA as a whole kind of shined along with Black Adam.
I honestly feel like the JSA kind of overshadowed him. Their charisma. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I kind of feel like The Rock is that one show pony, and he, I did like, his fight scenes. He does look like a superhero. I can't say that he doesn't. He looks really good. Like when the movie was at his best, when this is all fucked up. When The Rock shut the hell up and was just punching people. That's when it like honestly was the funnest time in my opinion. But like even like the special effects, that whole putting his head on a skinny dude's body, that one was kind of awkward. The plot to me was a generic plot, obviously, and to be honest, Sabak as a villain was just a throwaway villain. What other purpose was there besides adding more tension to the movie? I believe if they would have removed Sabak and maybe that other storyline where they try to fake us out, but they told us in the trailer that it was his son, and then wound up sacrificing himself or whatever. We knew it was gonna happen, so the fact that they played on it like, oh, it was a whole secret on what happened and blah 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 blah. they did change his origin, obviously, on some things
Yeah.
because they got to make it fit in the grand scale. Um, but I don't know, man. This is just that the movie, and the reason why I said eight, you're giving it an 8 or a 9 because to me, I'd give it like a 5 or 6. I, it was a good movie. It wasn't a good movie. It wasn't a good movie. It was a below average movie, but it had some. What I think happened is that it was some bad stuff that like happened, and then they give us one epic scene that made us forget about all that bad dialogue and everything that was happening. The highlights, and she didn't get a lot of screen time. Amanda Waller, her dialogue was on key. I felt her presence. I really was intrigued with what she was gonna do, but she was only there for a little bit. I did like the connectivity. I like that they put Hardcore in there. I like that they put Amanda Waller. Um, like I said, the spoiler review. Superman is in there in the post credit scene for like 5 seconds. Even him, like I felt like his suit was weird. Like I told you yesterday when we were leaving the movie theater, it seemed like they took away his Kryptonian markings in his suit, and it just looks like they put a mustard yellow in his chest symbol. Um, but yeah, man, I wouldn't go so high and say that, but do I think it was a fun movie? I believe it was a fun movie, but you know, fun can only take you so far, and if the plot isn't really rocking, like there was a couple times where I was like, I guess to move the plot forward, but we really don't need Sabak in that one. He was just a CGI character. Also, Sabak as a full CGI monster, I don't feel like they did a solid job with the CGI on him. Like there was a couple wonky shots. I was just like, kind of took me out of the experience.
I don't know. Again, I don't know because I think it all works together. Like you need obviously you need a bad guy, and though they clearly made Black Adam more of the reluctant hero. Obviously his things are outdated. The JSA telling him like, hey, don't kill people and stuff. But I mean, Kahndaq is his place and all that, so he doesn't really get all that. But like, he needed someone to face up against, and who better than Sabak? You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't just face Hawkman and Doctor Fate. You saw what happened to him.
Well, he was the bad guy.
Yeah,
Black Adam is the bad guy.
He's not supposed to be the bad guy. He's the reluctant hero.
I think if they would have, and hear me out, I think if they would have just taken the whole superpower thing to the side and just been like, look, we're gonna write a fucking story about how he's a man at a time. He's he has these powers. We're gonna write a story, and then we're gonna add the superpowers in later to help fit within the story a little bit better. I think they would have had a more cohesive story because we would have been able to, they could have made him the villain and had him struggling with, him killing people and the moral dilemma within that and stuff like that and blah 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 blah. But they chose to go the other route and put another throwaway villain into the movie just so they can say, hey, there is a big bad. And if Black Adam is already technically a villain, anti-hero, whatever, why put another villain for him to spar against? Why not put the bad guys in this movie? Should have been the JSA. They should have been the ones that are trying to stop him from doing what he believes is the right thing. You get me? Kind of?
Well, yeah.
Do you kind of get that point?
Yeah, but like that, for the way the story works and stuff, because this was set back, he had to follow the structure that they gave in Shazam. And if you remember Shazam, they say that he was given godlike powers and he was the bad guy. And so when Billy gets his powers and stuff, they tell him that, and then fast forward to Black Adam. Yeah, he's out of time and stuff, but he was still the bad guy in his era. Like, he was chosen, and what he did with his powers was, well, he fucked shit up. And then, fast forward through the movie, you see it. He's the reluctant hero. He doesn't want to be Kahndaq's hero, but he sees that his the way it is and stuff, and with Sabak, someone has to step up and do it, and clearly the JSA wasn't handling it, so it made him the guy. That's why he's just the reluctant hero. It's not that he could have been the bad guy. The JSA saw what he was doing, killing people and stuff. Like Hawkman did his best, to stop him and tell him, hey, don't do that. Along with the boy and the mom. But at the end of the day, he's just a reluctant hero. And then it's not till he kills Sabak where he's like, alright, I guess I'm Kondak's protector now and whatever. And Amanda Waller, tells him, stay there.
So reluctant hero. You don't feel like they've done that before? Like you don't think like, hey, maybe we should have gotten a movie where he's actually a villain. And another thing too that I would have to point out and say that, kind of stood out to me is, where's Shazam? That's his villain. I know they put in the post-credit scene Superman, but I mean, why not do another one where Shazam kind of gets in the picture of some capacity? Because how is Black Adam just flying around and Shazam has nothing to do with it?
Well, I don't know. That's all up to interpretation. You can throw it out of the universe and be like, hey, maybe they just didn't want to add him. But from in universe, maybe Billy just doesn't know. Maybe his connection is just where he's at, which is, I want to say Philadelphia. It should be Philadelphia, something like that.
I think so.
And he's not outstretched like that. He's not even like a Justice League member officially. So I mean, maybe he's just limited to his town and his city. That's why in the sequel it looks like his threats are going to be grander with the gods and stuff rather than it was with the 7 sins in the first of them. So maybe in his movie they bring up Black Adam like, hey, because at that point we don't know where his movie takes place either. We'd have to wait and see. Maybe after, because it looks like the Wizard is still alive in Fury of the Gods.
Yes.
So maybe he's like, hey, our former champion is back. He's in Kahndaq. We should totally,
do something about it.
Yeah.
So you think that they might do something in Shazam too to kind of...
Yeah, to connect the dots.
Okay.
But that's all up into interpretation. You know what I mean?
It's not up to interpret. That's up to the studio and saying how they're gonna go ahead and put them together. But that's what I'm saying is that why not? Why, like, I understand The Rock is probably trying to go for the biggest baddest dude just so he can eventually lead up to that battle, but I mean, why not start smaller with your own villain, at least. I mean, your own villain, your own good guy, and just try to, in my opinion, just try to build something from there. At least tease him in there. They didn't even say not one word about him. They didn't say, oh, there's another champion like you out there. I mean, like, the fact that they just completely just did not even a single word of, Billy Batson, or was his name right? Billy Batson. Billy Batson or anything like that is kind of like, in my opinion, I feel like that's a missed opportunity. That could have been a groundwork right there. At least to say, hey, we're in the same universe. We'll get to him pretty soon, but right now we're focused on what is it? Kahndaq. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. We don't know if it's taking place around the same time as Shazam and stuff, or if it's a little bit after or whatever. We know that he gets his powers and stuff, and by this time, he's supposed to be dead. The wizard that gave him his powers, he's supposed to be dead, but we know he comes back, or he looks like he's alive in Shazam 2. So I mean, it's just how they connect the dots at that point. Like how the MCU usually does it.
Okay.
We just have to wait and see for Shazam 2.
Yeah. So with that being said, seeing the end credit scene, seeing how this movie unfolded, where do you see the direction going for the DCU now?
I think with the way this movie is turning out and stuff and the numbers it's putting out, I don't think they're gonna be too I don't think we're gonna be waiting forever for the next Black Adam movie or crossover, whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be Justice League or whatever Rock is pitching, the Justice League and Suicide Squad against Black Adam or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it'll be a minute till we see him. Like, I think it'll happen rather quickly. Like, I remember seeing an article where they said that if Black Adam, since it's doing kind of well right now, that they're going to start working on a second script or whatever. And whether he fights Superman or he fights Billy, like, that's to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're going to end up seeing Black Adam again pretty soon. Whether that be after The Flash, after Shazam, after Aquaman, after Blue Beetle, somewhere along the line.
That's assuming this movie does numbers. Like I said, it kind of seemed like an empty screening yesterday when we had went. But hey, who knows? Maybe in other places they're, packing up seats. Maybe they're going to places we're not going.
Exactly.
But for me, I kind of see the DCU kind of, honestly, I can't even see a future. I couldn't. Like, I understand that they're kind of setting up that Black Adam and Superman thing, but I don't feel like they laid enough groundwork in this movie to tell us where it might go, That's what I'm saying. Like, if they would have put some Shazam things in there to kind of hint, like, hey, eventually we're going to be getting a meetup. I think the only thing they basically put into this movie was that Superman thing where, like, yeah, we're going to eventually meet up together and, squabble. But in my head, I'm like, so Superman arrived there and did nothing? Like, he was just like, Black Adam, we need to talk. Okay, get a cup of tea, maybe some Terramana whiskey real quick, drink some down, and, whatever. But, bro down. But that's just in my opinion. I don't know where it's going. I don't feel like that movie did a lot of groundwork to tell us. If I wanted to, I could probably easily say that this is a good standalone.
I don't know, because you can tell that they are laying the groundwork. Obviously, they wouldn't
groundwork for what?
For a bigger DC. Like, they wouldn't have.
For what?
What do you mean for what?
Where is the direction going?
Obviously, toward whether it be Justice League versus Black Adam, I don't know. We don't know that yet. But you can clearly see they have roots. Otherwise, they wouldn't have put Amanda Waller there. They wouldn't have established JSA, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, the Atom Smasher, and the chick, which I feel so bad for forgetting her name.
Yeah, I really forgot her name.
And like, they wouldn't have put them there if they weren't gonna expand upon that. Like, I hope the next time we see the JSA, we see Jay Garrick and the characters I was telling you about.
Let me ask you a question. Now, spoiler, guys. Dr. Fate didn't make it out of that movie. So, what are they really setting up with those characters?
Well, a Dr. Fate, the helmet can be passed on to another person.
Yes, of course. But if they were setting him... And he was in the trailers a lot. Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan. So, you're hyping him up. You're saying, like, hey, these are the characters that you're going to see. But then you go and you get rid of one?
Well, yeah.
On his first outing?
Well,
that wasn't even his movie?
Well, we know that the helmet can, choose someone else. It's not so much that, like, we won't see him again. It's just a matter of when we'll see him again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but him dying doesn't really change that. You said the last couple episodes that they don't really die. And in the sense of Dr. Fate, he's a magical being. He doesn't die. He gets passed on.
I don't know. Dr. Fate is not usually in the JSA, is he? I feel like he was just filler for the two that were missing, which was, you named them right now, the Green Lantern and Flash, right?
Yeah.
Because Dr. Fate's not usually in that roster, so I kind of felt like they kind of were like, well, we can't get those two characters, so we're gonna put somebody that can basically do both. You know what I mean? So they put Dr. Fate in there and then kind of, throw him away. That's kind of the way I see it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I loved the movie, but it just seemed like they were just going for spectacle. And don't get me wrong, spectacle is good. And The Rock does spectacle well because he used to, be in the WWE. He probably knows exactly how to get the fans hyped up and stuff like that. But you can't just get us hyped up, and then at the end of the movie just be like, well, the movie's done now, but hey, here's Superman. You know what I mean? I kind of felt like that's kind of like the way that they went yesterday. Like, and like I said, I had fun in the movie. There, it had its highs. I love the ending when they just got rid of that throwaway character and he got split in half. That was sick. I loved it, but it just seems like they were just like they wanted to make it into a bigger, grander scale, but they maybe it was just limitations from the old regime that it's still crossing over. Because I mean, how much of the movie could they actually have switched up? You know what I mean? From the time that Warner Brothers were by themselves to when Warner Brothers Discovery walked in. I think they said that they probably filmed that Superman cameo. I believe like a couple months before the actual movie came out. Because I know like test screenings they were saying that he was in there, but it was just chest down.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they were very limited. I'm not saying that Black Adam doesn't have a future, okay? Because they could very well come up, but I think they were very limited with how they put this movie together. And if I want to be honest, it felt like it could have been a movie made about 10 years ago when the first Iron Man movie came out. That's how generic I felt it was. It felt like it was something that it could have been brought out back in early 2000s or 90s if necessary. Like, that's how the formula of the movie felt, like very old school. Maybe you don't remember that because you were just a wee lad, or maybe you weren't even born yet. But yeah, man, it's just like I said, Black Adam was good. But I would not give it a 9 or an 8.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I just feel you're being a little bit too critical about it. I don't know. Because this is how this. You kind of were being like this with like Venom and stuff.
Venom, I loved the first Venom. Venom 1 was really good. The second Venom kind of lost me. Venom kind of lost me.
But back on Black Adam, I don't know, because I really did like it. I think it all holds up really well, and maybe I just feel optimistic about where DC's headed now. The power hierarchy has changed.
If it don't do box office numbers, I don't think the hierarchy is changing.
What do you call it? It's I don't know. I just think it works. Like, there's not any real big complaints other than like I found the little boy a little cringy sometimes, and I guess the mom, like, I don't know, their human element was to play on like Black Adam's like human side, which I get, but I think they kind of went about it oddly with them.
I know in the story, in the comics, that doesn't he give some of his power to her, and they're basically both powerful and they both rule together or whatever.
I don't even know.
I believe in the comics they do that. So I'll do a little bit more research on it. I feel like I've read that somewhere, that's what happens. So if that's the case, they could, in my opinion, probably could have made a better movie by doing something like that towards the end. You know what I mean? Like showing that they're a power couple. I think if they were gonna like have her in there, I felt like their chemistry was great. I just feel like they didn't exploit it as much. Atom Smasher and that Tornado Girl had really good chemistry, and I feel like they did not get enough screen time. I like every time they were on screen together and the way they were joking, that chemistry that they had, I really loved it. And I felt like they could have really did something with it. Like I said, I loved how The Rock was. It just seems like he just knows how to be godlike. You know what I mean? Because the way he was just, his posture, his poses, the way he was flying. I was gonna say Superman flying, but the way he was flying, stuff like that. Like, he knows. Like, that's what I'm telling you. He knows how to do spectacle. He knows how to do all these things. He knows how to deliver it. I just think maybe if I want to place blame on somebody, I honestly believe it was the director and the dialogue that he probably approved of, and I don't think they should give him another comic book property, or her. I don't know who made the movie, but they probably shouldn't give him another property like that. something so grand scale.
I'm sure the director will. Oh, well, depending on how the film goes, I guess, whether it be really good or bad, or if it gets a sequel, like they were saying in the article, they might get another shot, probably. But movies go through directors like nothing, and so maybe they're just like, hey, we want to try someone else, or maybe they change the cinematographer. Like that's all up to them. But I don't know. I don't know the person who directed it on a big scale. Maybe is this their first movie?
I'm not sure. Let me keep going.
I just know that if it is their first movie, then there's a lot to learn and stuff. And if it's not their first movie, then there's also still room to grow, obviously. Regardless, like it's not so much like, hey, you kind of shit the bag, you know what I mean? Like,
oh no, he's actually done more movies. He's done The Orphan, Nonstop, Jungle Cruise. He was with The Rock on Jungle Cruise. That's cool. Commuter, House of Wax. I really love the House of Wax. Yeah, man.
So he does more horror movies.
More horror, more family friendly, more thriller. Not really. No, this is his first superhero movie. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe he could get better. Maybe yeah. I mean, he has a lot of good credits on IMDb, so I could be wrong about it. I never heard of him before until this movie, so maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Hopefully, they can make something out of this movie. I hope seeing Superman back shows that the DC's future could be bright if done right. I will not say The Rock is the savior of the DCU, but he sure breathed a little bit of life into it, for sure. I feel like it was dead because of the movies that were coming out, the Suicide Squad, mixed reception. I mean, I liked it to a certain point. There was a couple things I didn't like about it. What other movies came out from DC?
Before Suicide Squad?
After the Suicide Squad? That was basically it, huh?
I couldn't even tell you. Before that one was Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey, that one was okay as well. So, I mean, they were... Rotten Tomato-wise, it's been doing good. Fandom-wise, I feel like it's still split between, and I kind of feel like this movie didn't help it either because I feel like the fandom's going to be a little split between comic accuracy and then, people that don't know the character, they're obviously going to just take whatever they put in this movie and be like, well, it's good enough for me. You know what I mean? So I feel like the DC might be bright. I'm still waiting on the Flash movie. I kind of feel like that one might be the highlight. But Black Adam was, for lack of a better word, is a good addition, but it won't be remembered as the best addition in my opinion.
I don't know. Are we comparing it to other DC movies now?
That's basic. I mean, that's all we can. I mean, automatically, when a movie comes out, especially in DC, it's gonna be compared to Marvel. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's gonna be compared. The superhero genre that's killing it right now is Marvel. How The Rock said it before, and how other people say it, like it's its own completely different property. They're gonna handle it differently. Yes, of course, but if you see how they're killing it at Marvel and see the mistakes they're making on this side, you have no other choice but to compare it. But if we're comparing it to just DC movies, I will say it is a good addition. It's not one of the better DC movies. I like the score in it and everything like that. It was good. It fit within the DCU in my opinion. But like I said, it's a good addition, but it's gonna be a forgettable one for me for sure.
I don't know, because I mean, I obviously liked it a lot better than previous DC movies. Like I'd put it above them. Obviously, the ones that I hold closely. I'm not gonna reveal those because I know we could do a whole another episode on that.
Yeah.
But the ones that I hold closely, I'd put it up there. I'd probably put it around Shazam and Aquaman if I'm being for real. I'm not putting it against the two that I like. We can't. I don't want to reveal those.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to reveal those.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But you know which ones I like.
Okay.
So I'd
enough.
put it around maybe slot 5 or 4 for me. If I'm being for real.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I wasn't vibing with Suicide Squad. We know that for sure.
Okay. What? And you know what? That's a good video to make. We'll probably do a podcast on that, ranking
The
all
DCEU.
of ranking the DCEU. We're gonna rank where Black Adam fits in all of that later on. But with that being said, Josh is rocking with Black Adam.
Yep.
I'm kind of teeter-tottering with that movie. I guess we're just going to have to wait to see what the next few days look like, see what the box office comes out, see how, how that's going to affect the movie and the DCU in general.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think we're ready to wrap up the podcast. So,
Yep.
as you can see, Black Adam is a bit divided, but what about you guys out there? Did you see Black Adam? Did you hate it or love it? Let us know by tweeting to Film Bros Podcast on Twitter. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see y'all on the next pod.
See you guys around.